Hi, my name's Riley Beaver and I'm a Houston County Fair Ambassador. Today I'm going to be talking to you about what to pack in your show box for show day. Just a few disclaimers before we get started. First of all, you don't have to have a metal show box. You can just use a plastic tote or whatever you have. Second of all, be sure to check your show's rules before packing any items because you don't want to pack anything that you're not supposed to have. Let's get started. So to start off, we have our muzzles. There are two different types of muzzles that you can buy, both plastic and soft. We usually use the plastic for sheep and the soft for goats. Next we have a towel. Towels are very good to pack to dry your animal if you don't have a blow dryer. The next item on our list is a canvas blanket. So this is a sheep blanket, but you can also get it for goats, and this is an essential item to have to protect your animal from the cold. So this is a lamb tube. They also make them in goat form, but we typically don't use them for our goats. This item really helps to trap in the moisture of the hide. And finally, we have the cool coat. This is just the same as the canvas blanket, but made out of a mesh material to keep your animal protected from flies in the hot months. So one thing that we always like to keep in our show box is a little bag of pens to make sure that we always have something to write with or to fill out our weight cards. This item, we only have it on personal preference, but this is a show clip. So you basically just clip this to your jeans or your belt, and you put a show number in this clip right here. It basically helps so you don't have to use a whole bunch of safety pins to pin your number to the back of your shirt. But if you prefer safety pins, that's fine too. One thing that you're always going to want to have in your show box is a pair of scissors or hoof trimmers. Either one works fine, but just in case you need to trim a hoof or clip off the end of a zip tie, these will come in handy. Next, we have our drench gun. This is an essential item in your show box because when it comes time to drench, you're going to need it. So for our brushes, we have different types. This one is probably the best to get bigger knots out of the wool. And this one is for brushing out the body once you put in your spray and conditioner. And this one is probably the most important one on that list. This is the slicker comb, which you use to get majority of the knots out of the leg wool with. It can also be used for goat leg hair. So you're always going to want to make sure to have an extension cord or power strip, preferably both, in your show box because if you need extra power or to hook up a fan or a blow dryer, you're going to need it. So this is something that we personally like to do is have a vet bag. So this bag contains extra needles, extra safety pins, a thermometer, and different things that we could use if our lamb or goat got sick at the show. So it's always handy to keep some different types of medicines and things on hand at the show because you never know what's going to happen. We personally like to keep gas pills for bloat because that can happen and it's important to get that down as fast as possible. We also like to keep a anti-diarrheal in our show box because if your lamb gets a little bit anxious at the show and scours, it's really important to have this on hand. And finally, we always make sure to keep mineral oil in our show box. When your lamb gets bloated, mineral oil will help bring the bloat down. You only have to use about 20 cc's or so and it works within an hour. This is definitely an essential product to have in your show box. Alright, so moving on to our spray section, we'll start out with our shampoo and conditioner. So personally, we like to use the $1 Suave shampoo and conditioner from Walmart. It works equally as well as anything else that you could get on the market and it's very inexpensive. So for spray-on conditioners, we use two different types. We usually use Freshen Up for our sheep and Revive for our goats. They pretty much do the same thing, but it's just personal preference. We like to use the Freshen Up for the sheep. It's really just personal preference. So when working leg wool or hair, you're going to want to use Flare. Flare is an excellent product to get that leg wool or hair standing on end and puffy and shiny. And finally, we have Easy Clean. Easy Clean is just a waterless shampoo that you can use, say in case another animal jumps on yours and you need a quick clean before you go into the show ring. You just spray on some Easy Clean, take a towel and wipe it off, and your animal's clean again. This is definitely an essential item to have in your show box. Alright, so these are items that you don't have to keep inside of your show box, but you definitely need to have with you at the fairgrounds. So first off, we of course have feed. So you can either bag it up individually in bags according to the day, or you can just put it in a big bucket with a scoop. It's all personal preference, but you definitely need to pack plenty of feed for the week of fair. Our next item is alfalfa hay. You definitely want to pack plenty of this. That way your animal can stay healthy and happy while at the fair. So packing water and feed buckets are very important because you need your animal to be drinking properly and eating properly at the fair. So make sure not to forget those. So next we have our goat show halter and chain. So depending on how you want to show your goat, you need to make sure that you remember either your chain or your halter. That way when you get to the show, you have something to show it on. You also need to remember for sheep or goats that you need to remember all your halters, because if you get to the fair and you don't have a halter, you won't have a way to move your animal. So our next item on our list is leg wraps. So typically these are a lamb only item, and usually you'd want to wrap your lamb's legs before you leave for the show. But it's always good to have an extra pair on hand in case something happens to the ones that you have on. Next we have a water hose. So you're going to need a water hose at the fairgrounds to wash your lamb and fill up water buckets. Make sure to have that either in your show box or somewhere nearby. And finally, one essential item in your show box is going to be a coffee can. So a coffee can is typically used as a feed scoop. So one coffee can typically weighs 1 pound of feed, so it's an easy way to measure how much feed you're giving to your lamb before show. It also measures 2 pounds of water, so you know how much you're drenching before the show as well. And that's it. Just a few simple, easy steps of packing can have you prepared and ready for show day. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to HCF Ambassadors on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Thanks for watching and good luck at the fair.